Hey, welcome, gang. Today is Wednesday. It's the 23rd of March, and it is 2022. And I have some sad news for everyone today. You guys who have been with us for a long time, of course, you'll know JimmyD. His name is Jim Wendell, and Jimmy is the one you see right here on the screen in the center middle here, and a very big part of our organization. And I'll get into that in a moment. But Jimmy passed away hours, actually, after we did this live stream this past Sunday night. And that was the 20th of March, just 3 days ago. And I wanted to let you guys know this. Those of you who've been with us for a while remember JimmyD from videos that we had done before, and then he didn't do videos for a while. And then, basically this is the first time we've had him back on the video side. That was because of internet problems mainly. But so I wanted to talk a little bit about JimmyD, and I'm not going to make this a real long video. But a lot of people credit, me for, the work that I did in SAPA. And the fact of the matter is I've just been a cog in the machine for getting Missouri SAPA done. And ours is very unique and very special. And I know that this video, basically through time won't be respected as much if I put in events. So I'm going to try not to do that. But as an example, Wyoming just got their SAPA bill passed literally just a few days ago. And it has absolutely no teeth. It is a totally meaningless bill. And states keep doing this over and over again. We're the only state that has SAPA with teeth. And that's because of the grassroots. So I'm going to back up a little bit and talk to you about when I first met Jimmy. If you guys followed us on Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast, that's the other YouTube channel. It gets neglected sometimes now since we've started this new organization, but that's where we started. In 2019, I did a story about SAPA from an online rag called the Sentinel, and it ended up being fake news. I reported a fake news story as though it was real. And I was evidently at the time just far too lazy to pick up the phone and call my representative or my senator and confirm it. I reported on it, as it was, presented online. So Jimmy had contacted me through the comment section of that video back in 2019. I believe this was June of 2019. And to let me know that that's not what happened, and then David Burden, another guy, we've talked about David Burden. He passed away just over a year ago. But David Burden and Jimmy Wendell were looking for someone like us at the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast that could actually establish basically an online video format presence for educating people about SAPA in the state of Missouri. And I'd have reported on the story, and so we started talking, and it wasn't just commenting back and forth on videos. I mean, we exchanged telephone numbers. I was talking to David at the time, and of course Jimmy quite a bit, and so we agreed that basically we were going to pursue this, and I would use my channel, the channel that I have through the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast, basically to further the education of SAPA and also raise a grassroots army. And that's precisely what we did. I can go through what we did in 2020 and what we did in 2021, but those of you who followed us during that time know exactly what happened. But the importance that Jimmy played in this cannot be understated. Jimmy and I saw ourselves as cogs in a machine. And that basically it's just all these cogs came together and the teeth meshed up perfectly to turn the next cog, and then the cog after that. And that's exactly what Jimmy and David were. They were cogs that came up to me, and the teeth matched up and they started turning me. And then through my channel, the Truth, Money, and Freedom podcast, I was able to turn other cogs, and get other people involved. We were all a part of this, every one of us. But without Jimmy, there wouldn't have been me. I wouldn't have been a part of this. So that's what I'm saying, the importance, of the role that Jimmy had played in this, for just getting us involved. So we had another platform to raise grassroots to actually support this extremely important legislation. And so, okay, and fast forward, okay, you guys know we got SAPA done with teeth. We're the only state to have it. Jimmy and I decided to start this organization, which was called the Missouri Liberty Alliance at first, until I was sued by Roy Blunt and, no, actually not by Roy Blunt, but one of his minions, to change the name, and which is now the Missouri Freedom Initiative. And the purpose of this organization, which Jimmy and I started together, and then with 2 understudies, by the way. The purpose was to protect SAPA. We knew it was going to come under attack, and that way we can continue educating people and continue the grassroots activity, because we knew there would be elements within Missouri that would constantly be trying to get rid of SAPA, to get through it, or get rid of it through the legislative process. Now, there are other mechanisms they will use that we don't have as much control over. So at any rate, that's the history I have with Jimmy. But what you guys probably don't know is all the strategy sessions that Jimmy and I were involved in, along with notable other people. I'm not going to name their names right now, during the whole SAPA process. So we knew exactly what to do and when to do it, and where pressure needed to be applied at what time and stuff like that. Jimmy was a very big part of this, and it's just, like I said, it's just, for me, he became such a close friend. But I want to say why Jimmy did what he did, because he actually told me more than once. It's, you guys, if you saw this video on Sunday, at the end of the video, he brought his granddaughter and put her on his lap, and she was the apple of his eye. It's to make sure that his granddaughter had the same freedoms that he had. And that's very similar to why I do what I do. I want to make sure that my daughter and my grandkids have the same freedoms that I've had. That I take that responsibility very seriously, and many people don't. But it's people like Jimmy and other people fighting in the background that sometimes people don't even know about, that keep those freedoms alive. And it's up to us, literally, to maintain that freedom, that legacy, that heritage that we all share, which is the Constitution of the United States and the Bill of Rights. So, I guess, at this point, it's just first off to let you guys know that Jimmy has passed. Now I'm going to go into why he disappeared for a while. I did talk about it a little bit at first. I think and forgive, and anyone who watches who knows the exact dates, please forgive me if I don't remember the exact dates, but September, he had a heart attack. I think it was in September. And so that, was a doozy, but he recovered. And then he had subsequent surgery on an artery for an aneurysm. And so that took him out for even longer. And then in January, I think it was January, it's either end of December, beginning of January, he had a massive heart attack. And this one was a very scary one, and it did a lot of damage, actually. And Jimmy had asked me after that, please don't talk so much about this, sort of stuff anymore. It's not necessary. And I respected that. And Jimmy knew that heart attack and the damage it did, and, how much of the heart wasn't functioning anymore, was bad news. And so we kind of knew, those of you who watch our videos, you probably saw my reaction, basically with, Jimmy, whenever he'd come online, and I just say, hey, I'm glad you're with us, brother, and I love you, man, and, that sort of thing. And that's because I knew stuff, that was going on with Jimmy's health at the time. And, it's important to let people know that you love them. And I think that Jimmy felt the same way. So there is a service for Jimmy. It's on Saturday, and it's at noon on Saturday in Eureka, Missouri. It's Hilltop Neighborhood Clubhouse, and it's 17190 Hilltop Ridge Drive. Eureka, Missouri 63025. And those of you who want to go, please do. I'll be there. And I knew Jimmy's wife. I knew his son on the phone, but never met him before, so I look forward to meeting him. And also meeting his granddaughter. But this is a terrible loss, gang. For those of you who appreciate what we have in Missouri with SAPA, know that Jimmy was one of those really important cogs to get this thing done. So, for those of you who go, I will look forward to meeting you there as well. And we can reminisce. You know, some of us may not have met before, but, you know, this is just a tough time for some of us right now. So some people choose not to go to these things, you know, for that reason. And I understand that. But to my friend Jimmy, you know, I could only say this, is that I love you, man. I miss you. And I'll see you on the flip side. Take care, gang.
Because the past is just a goodbye. Teach your children well. Their father's hell did slowly go by. And feed them on your dreams. The one they picked, the one you know by. Don't you ever ask them why. If they told you, you would cry. So just look at them and sigh.